those people were hurt and suffering, turn it around.
אני עכשיו סובלת.
Yes, you're currently suffering and you're not even hurt. And the bombs are not falling. And that was enough. Can you be happy from here now? Those feelings that you have are the reminder it's time to question what you're believing. Until all of the thoughts you believed, you no longer believe. And you come to appreciate what is, to love what is. You know what I love about grace, about reality? All the pain and suffering of the world is in the past. It's over. That is beyond kind. Every human being that has ever suffered in this moment, it's in the past. But who recreates the pain and suffering in the world from this chair, the chair that you sit in? So you are the cause of all the suffering that exists in this world. And this world is the world as you understand it to be. So you're afraid of war? Can you absolutely know that that's true?
Yeah.
Good to know, isn't it? Those sirens could go off and you might think, interesting sound. I don't have the room that I thought I'd have. As an intelligent human being, what can I do from right here, right now? And if nothing comes to you to do, you might just ask yourself again, I'm afraid of war, is it true? And notice that you're still intact, the flower's still fine. And if the bomb blows your leg off, you can get very excited. It's like, how do I know I'm not supposed to have that leg anymore? It's gone. And immediately move into why you are better off without it. I know you can do this because your mind is very busy creating what you can't do when the leg's blown off. That is proof of your capacity to understand, to create. You're creating the world in the moment of what you will no longer be able to do. Not very exciting, but it's very exciting to just sit in, my leg is gone, and what could be better than two legs? Obviously, life with one leg. And all of the examples of why your life would be better. So, you're afraid of war? What are you without that thought?
אדם בלי כאב בטן, שמח.
That's my favorite part.
שמחה, כלילה, זורמת.
In reality.
In reality. וזוכרת את נושא החסד.
And what's so beautiful about it, you don't even have to remember it. It's all around you.
להיות עם זה במגע.
Yes. Yeah, because...
And to be, ולהיות בהכרת תודה.
Yes, when those sirens are going off and you're noticing reality, gratitude is the gift. So let's see what else. Let's see if there's anything left there. The end of the war with the mind is the end of war. Someone could say, I'm going to kill you. And who would you be if you didn't have the thought, he's going to kill me? Who would you be without a story of the future? And if someone says, I'm going to kill you, how can you know it's true? And so immediately you experience this moment of grace. Nothing has happened. You're just standing with a believer. And because you're not missing what could be life. Life. This is the moment of your life. A few days ago, I worked with some veterans. They saw men that they perceived as enemy running out, and they were fully on fire. They were just burning. So they began to put mud on them to put out the fire and to wait for the choppers to get there so they could take the enemy back to the hospital. And when the helicopters got there, they started taking the mud off of these men. And when the mud would fall off, the flames would start again. So this man that I was doing the work with had the thought that as he did the kind act of putting out the fire, it was just containing it. And he was looking directly into one gentleman's eyes as this was going on. And then he told me that was 40 years ago. 40 years. And he sees this man's eyes over and over and over. And he sees those flames and that burning. And he was told that before they could get to the hospital, that all of them died. And I was working with a group of veterans who were all suffering from post-traumatic stress syndrome. Trauma is nothing more than being stuck in what you believe. We walked through, that man was in pain, is it true? And they all said, yes, yes, yes. They've been believing that for 40 years. And then I asked them, have you ever been shot or cut or bleeding or wounded and you didn't even know it until you saw the blood or someone pointed it out to you? And every veteran there said, yes, I have experienced that. They have been seeing themselves for 40 years as monsters. So to answer these questions, these 4 questions, can shift an identity out of itself. And that can be very frightening because it would leave you as free. And what would that look like? What would life be without suffering? It can be terrifying to answer these questions. And anyone can do this work whose mind is open to it. But when we got to the turnarounds, he was in pain and suffering, turned around, I am in pain and suffering. And we counted how many hours from start to finish that they threw the fire and got them on the helicopters. It was 2 hours. And I said, well, let's say 3. And I said, if you had the choice, would you go through that experience in the pain that you imagine that man to be in, on fire, or live in the pain that you have been living in for 40 years? If you could choose one or the other, which one would you choose? Which is the kinder way? And they all jumped on that plane they were imagining. So the worst that can happen is what we're living. Wars can be quick when it comes to reality.